My name's Elise Freshwater-Blizzard, and I love nature. I live on the doorstep of one of the most beautiful lands in the UK, the Peak District. With some of the most famous caves in the country, let me show you a piece of my life as we travel together deep, down, under. Hi, and welcome to Deep Down Under. In today's episode, we're focusing on teamwork. Now, why might teamwork be so important in caving? Well, that's a great question, because it's imperative for us. And the reason is that if things go wrong, or if you feel you're in a sticky situation down underground, you're going to need your team members to help get you through the whole situation. And it also makes caving a lot more fun. So, when you think about a cave entrance, you might think of something grand and big to walk into. But actually, what you see behind me right now are two cave entrances. Right there. They're so small that you can hardly see them. And this is actually a problem for cavers, because cavers actually get lost just as much overground as underground. And the reason being is that we just can't find the caves, and we might have to use maps to get there, but there's another really clever technique that we can use to help find these caves, and it's standing right beneath my feet. Now, water runs through caves, so if we can find water overland, we can probably find water underground as well. Here, the water will be flowing directly to the cave entrance, which is so useful for us. So if we found this water here, we can just follow the stream and we'll find the cave entrance. So if you'd like to follow me down, let's go through. Right, okay, so we've got our kit on and now it's just to go into the cave. However, we said that there were two caves and we're only going to go into one. And it happens that we're not going to go into the cave where the water runs into. No, we're going to go all the way through those nettles to get to our cave. So if you'd like to come with me, oh my gosh, you'd think that this would hurt, right? But actually, I'm wearing so many clothes that none of these nettles actually affect me and I can walk right through. Just realised I need to go round. Oh my gosh, I've just got to make sure they don't go into my face, because these nettles are going right high up, right where my face is. And all of a sudden, we stand right in front of a black hole that we're going to go into today. So lights on, hats on, and let's go. This muddy and tight cave is called Perryfoot. Because of the nature of the cave, my team member and I have to keep communicating clearly about what we are doing. We navigate through the passages by using a cave map, known as a survey. The surveys can be quite hard to read for me sometimes, and navigation isn't always easy when every single room tends to look the same. This cave is actually so small that I'll be on my belly for most of the trip, or in awkward positions. If we look at our cave map here, it says we're coming up to a duck. Now, there aren't any ducks in caves, I assure you. However, there is something called a muddy duck. Now, a muddy duck is where there's so much water we're going to have to duck underneath it. And these pools of water are normally very, very muddy. So it's also going to be very cold and we're not going to like it. However, cavers have a momentous piece of modern equipment that we use to get this water out of the way so we can safely go through the rest of the cave. And this piece of equipment is called a pipe. So if you'd like to watch how I do this, then come along, let's do this. Let's go up. Oh, I need to put my gloves on first. How about that? If I can create suction and siphon the lake, I can clear the way onwards to go further into the cave. I create suction in the water on one side of the pipe, and on the other, with the help of my partner, the water should start flowing out into other parts of the cave. Aside from caving alone being dangerous, this is yet another reason to make sure you always have somebody with you whilst you go caving, since I just couldn't do this alone. We've cleared out the sump and now it's time for me to go through, and I'm dreading this because I know that caves constantly all year round are 8 to 10 degrees, but the water can be much, much colder. So I'm nervous about going through. I've got the helmet off. I'm going to sail it through so I can see what's on the other side. And let's just do it. Let's do it. Oh, gotta do it. Gotta do it. Gotta breathe through it. Come on, you got it. Come on, girl. Oh my God, that water is so cold. Ah, it's going right all the way down up my neck. And into my suit. Oh jeez. Oh boy. Oh boy, that's a cold one. That's a cold one. Yeah. So I've just come out of that and it's a bit shocking because it shocks all of my senses at once. But if there's one thing I can count on at the other end of the tunnel, it's my partner, my caving partner, Jeff, on the other side, helping me through. And honestly, sometimes I don't know if I could complete some of the caving trips I have completed without my caving partner. They're just so important, and to work as a team really gets you through struggles like the one that I just went through. Let's carry on. It's so tight. Oh my God. Helmet through that. Ah! Oh, I don't want to bash my head. Let's get concussion here. It'd be really bad. There wouldn't be anyone to help me out. Oh my God, it's tighter than I remember actually. As we press on through the cave, there's something I'm nervous about approaching. The Iron Maiden. An Iron Maiden is a historical torture device shaped like a sarcophagus with spikes on the inside for the body to be trapped there. Much like this, the Iron Maiden in this cave is a short tube just big enough to fit a human body in, but it's a struggle to get up. Luckily for me, there are no spikes, however. To get up this, I have to push against the walls, a technique known as thrutching. If you think it's a struggle going up, it's much worse going back down, as we'll have to go head first. From this point onwards, I need my caving partner to help me out navigating these squeezes. Squeezes are where there's barely enough room for the human body to fit through, so I have to carefully pass my body through limb by limb in the rock. In fact, in most points in this cave, my caving partner and I can't be in the same room together because each room is just so small and awkward for us to both be in. And it's important to mention that every single squeeze is different. Some I will struggle with and others I won't. If I find it too much of a challenge, I will back down, go back and leave the cave. There's not much point in going through too much hardship. It's not worth it. This squeeze today in particular is a wonderful triumph for me because last time I was in this cave, this exactly happened. I could not get through and so I left it for another day. However, today I've managed to pass through. So today I am a happy caver indeed. Even though we're coming towards the end of the trip, this cave doesn't go very deep. The surface is still incredibly close to us even though the entrance cannot be seen. We are so near the entrance here, and there's a really clear, visible way of telling, which actually really excites me. Right here, water at high tide will rush through here and drop off some artefacts from the outside world that normally caves never get to see. Like this right here is an animal bone, and that's not the only thing. We have bits of pottery, twigs. I think I've just seen a fly buzz around. It's so exciting. But there's even a little plant down there growing. And I think it's just because of the water running through, giving all those special nutrients that it can grow. The big question is, are cavers scared of being trapped forever down these holes? Well, we rarely are, because we have grown to know our own limits and what we can pass through. For this cave, larger cavers actually won't be able to physically enter, but I am small enough to do so. For me, the hardest parts are things like going back down on the Iron Maiden, where my head is vertically face down. The feeling of blood rushing to my head as I'm face down makes me really uncomfortable, so I'm glad when it's over. A trick I sometimes use on caving trips is to cave with someone who is of a bigger frame than me, because if they can't get through a squeeze, I don't have to.
This is a stalactite that's been here for thousands of years, only for us to see it right now, in this moment, and it's beautiful. We've come to the end of the chamber now, and so for the end of the episode, so thank you so far for watching. And today's theme, as you know, has been teamwork. People may say that cavers are bizarre for going underground and wanting to do so, but in my own personal opinion, I actually love it for the friendships I form, because I truly believe that you cannot replicate these kinds of friendships in any other sport. It's so special, and that's part of the reason that I love to go caving. Everyone I've caved with, I've always felt a special bond with. And that's where we're going to leave it on this episode. So thank you for watching. It's been Elise Freshwater-Blizzard for Deep Down Under. Goodbye.